Hi, welcome to this brand new playlist. We are looking at AWS Data Engineering Certification, how to clear it, what are the type of questions that are asked, how to attack the different options and arrive at the right answer. If you have not yet subscribed, this is your opportunity to do so. Onboard the cloud journey. It will be very beneficial for your career. Okay, so let's jump into the questions. There is a company, they are already making use of AWS RDS, which is called Relational Database Service. This is a database which is supporting traditional databases like MySQL, Oracle, and so on. So they are storing transactional data in this database. So I'm drawing, they have a database and they are putting transactional data. Where is this database? This is in the private subnet. Now they have also written a Lambda function. What is Lambda? It is a serverless compute solution. You can write small code. You don't have to worry about provisioning the servers. Okay, so that's enough of Lambda. So you have written the Lambda code. So this is your Lambda code, and this guy is sitting in uh, the public. So um, so there is a Lambda code, and the developer needs the Lambda function ability to connect to database instance privately without using public internet. But that means this guy should talk to this guy directly in a very secured manner, no internet. Plus we got to give a solution which has the least operational overhead. See, here it is not about cost, here it is about least operational overhead. Okay, there should not be pain in the ass. Whenever we talk about least operational overhead, that means less pain in the ass when you do these things. See, option A is saying, boss, let us make everything public. Not only this guy can talk to this guy, 10 other people can also talk. So this is the least operational overhead. But is it secured? Now you might say, who told you that the communication should be secured? Who told you? So this line clearly says, boss, I want to talk privately only without using public internet. When the question is clearly saying, I don't want public internet, why are you proposing this option? So what happens if you go public? So people who are outside your VPC can directly connect to your database. Point one. Imagine your database as your girlfriend. Would you want your girlfriend to be directly approached by so many people on Instagram directly? No, you don't want that. You want to talk to her and you don't want others to view that communication or others to talk to her. Imagine this, okay? Suppose you are, uh, too feeling secured about your girlfriend and that's how you want to do it, suppose. Okay, nothing wrong in that. Okay. Unless your girlfriend is someone who is like open to all, she has an Instagram profile which is public and etc. That is exactly what we don't want. Here we are saying, guys, don't make it public. If you expose to the internet, the biggest concern is that your database becomes accessible to anyone on the internet, not only just authorized users, and an attack can surface, which makes the system very vulnerable to unauthorized access attempts. So that is exactly what we are pointing at. Now, option B says that, hey guys, that's fine. If I cannot go public, let me make use of security group. I will only allow DB instance to talk to Lambda functions on the database port. Fantastic. This should work because this is saying that I'm restricting all other access. My Instagram profile is private. I decide who can view my pictures. It's just like that. Okay, that is fantastic, man. That is all we needed. But then the question says, boss, that is not all that we need. You have to choose two answers. So now we have to look out or hunt for one more answer. So option C says, guys, let's put Lambda on the same subnet. That means let the boyfriend move to the girlfriend's house. Let them stay together. If they are in the same room, they can talk to each other. Nobody else will hear. Is it a feasible solution? Will the girlfriend's parents allow this guy to come in and stay, or vice versa, the girl to go there and say no, they will not be allowed unless they are adults or unless they are well settled and there is some commitment, whatever is the case. It is not allowed, and it is not a feasible solution. Just to talk, this guy will move to her place or this girl will move to the guy's place just to talk. No, this is not a feasible solution. So logically here as well, it is not a good solution. Now you might ask, explain in technical terms why. So what happens is, suppose they are in the same subnet. So that means the boy and the girl are in the same room. Now the boy's phone somehow gets hacked and someone hears the conversation. Like, if you are browsing Instagram and Instagram session is on your mobile phone and you're doing some other work, so Instagram keeps hearing what you're talking. I've seen this n number of times. So uh, that means the database can still be compromised through this lambda function. If there is some problem with lambda function, then since both are in the same subnet, if people can reach to lambda function, the people can reach to the boy, they can also reach to the girl, they can also reach to the database instance. The database instance is very important because the data is stored there. Now if you're talking about option E, where it says, hey guys, let's update ACL of a private subnet to do a self-referencing rule through the database port. And this itself is not a complete solution. It has to be combined with some other security measures. So what is recommended is that in such scenarios, you should have a very strong IAM policy put forward. You should have security groups being used, which is what we did in option B. And of course, they say that, hey, continuously monitor for any suspicious activity and unauthorized access attempts and do that monitoring. Okay. But in our question, the next best option is you attach the same security group and do a self-referencing rule. The ideal solution would be you should leverage VPC endpoints, but we do not have these in our options. The best solution to make it secure would be make use of VPC endpoints and make use of bastion hosts. This Pause it, read this piece. We have explained carefully. This is the best solution. So if the similar question comes where you see VPC endpoints or bastion host as options, go for it. That is the best option. But at this time, since we don't have those options here, these two answers, options B and options D, these are the close match. Okay, let's look at the next one. There is a company, they are building an analytics solution. What is the solution? They have Redshift as the database. So this is a power driven database, very high performance, but it is mostly meant for what? Will you store transactional data here? No, boss. You will store summarized aggregated data warehouse type data. So if you want to put a data warehouse on cloud, AWS, go for Redshift. Nowadays, people are also not using Redshift, they are going for Snowflake. But this is a data warehouse solution on cloud. And so they got a database, they have a bucket here. This is S3, and this guy is hitting this guy, reading the data using a product called Redshift Spectrum. So what Redshift does, or the Spectrum does, is you don't have to move the data or migrate the data from S3 to Redshift and store everything in Redshift. They give you some kind of dynamic opportunity. The data can still reside in S3 and you can fire queries as if the data was in the database of Redshift using Spectrum. So you can efficiently query and retrieve structured and semi-structured data from the files, and you can match it with Redshift tables. Okay, fantastic. So if we can do so many things, what is the problem? You're saying, guys, you have to take an action. As a data engineer, you need to ensure that you provide fastest queries. Okay, and you have to choose two answers. So it is all about speed, performance, low cost, and less pain in the ass. So what will you do? There are 5 options. You have to choose 2. Okay. The first one says, hey, let me zip all the files that is there in S3, all the files that are there. I'll have to zip it. I'll have to zip it so that the size is between 1 GB or 5 GB. See, boss, when it is trying to read, no, it will have to do decompression so many times. Your performance will be affected negatively. You wanted high performance, but you chose to do something which will reduce the performance. Not a good option, boss. Not a good option. Okay, so we will strike this out. We'll say not a good option. Okay, so now let us quickly look at something which straight away looks incorrect. It is saying I will use file formats that are not splittable. See, if you wanted only a portion of data to be accessed, now this guy will have to read everything, scan everything, because you are saying I will not split the file. It will impact the performance negatively because you are so adamant that I just want one file, read everything, even if you want 5 rows from it, read all a million rows. Guys, we cannot be so stupid, we cannot be. Okay, the next option that, looking at it, it looks a bit weird, is split the data into files that are less than K. See, splitting is fine, but splitting below 10 KB does not look correct. Now you will straight away say why. So this is why. If you split it, the performance goes down. Why? Because there are so many small files. Redshift, the way Redshift works is, Redshift Spectrum, the way it works is, it has been born to handle large files efficiently. Okay, now if it is born to handle large files efficiently and you are telling it, boss, I'll give you small files, that guy will get slowed down. Okay, the guy will get slowed down. If the guy gets slowed down, what happens? Your query performance is not there. Your queries will take a lot of time to get processed. Why it gets slowed down? Because now small files will cause potential IO, that is input output bottlenecks. Okay, so we have established why this option is also wrong. So we just have 2 options left and we want 2 answers. First thing is, use columnar storage file format. See, this is a thumb rule anywhere. Now I'm talking from real life implementations also. We in my project, where I work, we don't think twice. We straight away use columnar storage format. It can be ORC, Parquet, any of those formats, or iceberg formats, open table formats. We don't use CSV. Okay, we want to use Parquet because these are columnar storage file formats. It will increase your query performance a lot. So if you want to understand how, why, this is the answer. So Spectrum says that, boss, you store it the data in columns instead of rows so that I can scan it faster. I can scan those columns faster. If I can do my job fast, this is what Spectrum is telling you, boss. If I can do my job fast, I can give you higher query performance for your analytics workload. Analytics workload of how it is different, boss. It has lot of filtering, lots of roll up and aggregation. So that is where this columnar file format will help you. Okay, that is one. Second is, see, you partition the data based on most common query predicates. You know, okay, this is the type of filters and predicates that is commonly used. Partition the data. If you are frequently using a predicate, say on date, range, year, then filter the data on based on time. Use a time range partition. So you can read more about it here. We have just drafted excellent explanations so that you don't have to do the groundwork. We have done it for you. This is a new certification. So if you go on the internet, you will find a lot of explanations for different options. Somebody says this is right, somebody says that is right. So we are giving you very detailed explanations why we think this answer is correct. Okay, but in case you think otherwise, you have some thoughts, please put it in the comment section. So what we are telling is, if you know, okay, this is a common filter I'm going to use, then you partition the data on that filter. So this is very beneficial for large data sets, because then you just hit the partition where that data is kept. For example, time bound, like monthly data. So you know exactly, okay, I am just looking for January data. I'll just go to the January partition. So you don't have to scan the data for February, March, April, and so on. That's how it is useful. Okay, so we lock this answer. Okay, this is the next question. Now, here the story is that a company is there. They are telling, boss, I have one application, a legacy application. What does legacy mean? Legacy means it's a very old application. It has been inherited year after year, and they are saying, I will move it to S3 data lake. Simple. Now you as a data engineer reviewed the data associated with legacy. The data engineer found that legacy data contains some duplicate, and now they are saying, boss, give a solution to remove duplicate information with least operation overhead. Least operation overhead means you don't have to put a lot of effort. It should be easy for anyone to do it. So just like, I'll not waste your time much because this is an easier question. We are looking for you to know AWS service. We don't want to create custom solution, right? So we will not write a custom ETL in Python. We will not write it. We will not write a custom ETL in Python. We will not write it. We will use glue. We know, boss, we are AWS certified. We know AWS has a ETL product called AWS Glue. This is a data integration product of AWS. In Azure world, you have something called Data Factory. In AWS, the same product is called Glue here, because these are data integration or ETL products of this cloud platform. Okay, both B and D. They are telling I'll use Glue. Okay, fine, fantastic. But which is correct? Option B is saying, guys, we will use find matches, machine learning. See, you don't have to do any machine learning functions here. Removing duplication or duplicates, etc. is very easy. In there are Python dedup library. Why will I use machine learning transformations? Will you go to the market in your Ferrari and buy a pint of milk? No. You would very well take your Honda Accord or a smaller car, a cheaper car to do that. Or you might instead walk to the nearby store which is under 1 mile, and you may just buy the pint of milk. Why will you take a Ferrari there? So machine learning transform, this is for big things. Don't use a sword where you just had to use a needle. So let's use a needle here. So what is the needle? Option D. I have Python dedup library. I'll use it to remove the duplicate. Simple, but I will use it inside glue. I'll use glue. I'll use glue, and I will use dedup library inside glue. Now you might say, hey, glue. So why are you using Python library? Because glue supports Python, boss. See, if you don't know Python, you have to understand and learn Python. Now Python with Gen AI, with all cloud platforms, you have to know Python. Otherwise, you will feel a lot of handicapness. If you're not yet subscribed, do so. It will help you understand the key concepts for this certification. With certification, AWS Data Engineering. This is a new certification. please focus on the concepts, because in the market we have very few questions, around 100 questions that we have, and you will have to clear the certification, new certification, based on these questions. So we are trying to cover so many different scenarios, so many different, each question we are covering 4 options at least, and so there will be 4 topics that we are covering in each question. So in one video 12 to 15 topics gets covered. I hope you understand how important this certification is for data engineers. Stay tuned, stay focused. We will keep posting many more such parts.